Welcome to yet another learning session. Now we delve into Grade 8, Module 11, Term 3 EOT, Question 20, and we are going to look at equations for lines of fit. Now there are certain things which we need to remember, which is basic knowledge. And if we have this basic knowledge, it is very easy to navigate through the rest of the examples. Firstly, we need to know that our basic equation is y is equal to mx plus b. What is m and what is b? Let me explain. So b is where your line cuts your y-axis. So we have the x-axis and the y-axis. So when we have to write the equation and we have to find b, there are three different options. What are the three different options? We know that the x is your independent axis, your y is your dependent axis. So let's quickly go into the first one. Here, because you start at the line starts at 0, the equation for b will be 0 plus 0, or you do not have to write this at all. For the second one, if it comes down from the y-axis to the x-axis, that means y is decreasing and x is increasing, right? And we have a value here. For example, if it is 50, then we would have plus 50. On the other hand, if we have an example coming down from the left to the right, and if it cuts the axis at probably 30, then our y value will be plus 30. Now, how do we go about figuring out the m value? M is our slope. M is our slope, S-L-O-P-E. And if you quickly look at the examples, we can see that this is a slope going, or we can say coming down from right to left. So this is positive. This is a negative slope, and this is also a positive slope, right? So when you write the equation, y is equal to, so the first one will be positive m, whatever your value is, and your x value. Your second one will be negative, and whatever your slope is together with your x value. And your third one is also positive, and whatever you work out your slope to be, your x value and 30. So that is the basics of how you find the value of b. The second part is to calculate m. M, which is your slope. M, we know the formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. x2 minus x1. In order to get these values, you would go to two different points. Mark off two different points on your line. Then go down to your x value, whatever your number is. For example, if this is 2, and let's call this 8. So we know at this point my x value is 2. Now I need to find the corresponding y value. To find the y value, you go to the y-axis. So where your point is, go to your y-axis and you will find a value here. So let us call this value 4. Sorry about that. So let's call that 4. So my x is 2 and my y is 4. Then I would label it as x1 and y1. x1 and y1. You would also notice that you need to know these values here. So there is your x1 value and there is your y1 value. Now we need to find the y2 and the x2. So let's go to the second point which we have already identified. We found x to be 8, and if you go towards the y-axis, you should find a value. We can call it 16. So that is 16. Now we would once again label it, and this would now be our x2 and this will be y2. All you need to do now is substitute the values into the equation. y2 will be 16 minus y1, which is 4. It's always advisable to take your highlighter in the exam and highlight your y value with one color and your x value with another color. The reason for this is that you would never mix up your coordinates and make a mistake. Going back, so you can see immediately 16 minus 4 and 8 minus 2. So 16 minus 4 and 8 minus 2. Thereafter 16 minus 4 is 12 and 8 minus 2 is 6 and 12 divided by 6 is 2. So take your value which you have now found, which is 2, and you are able to substitute it into the equation. So if I have to substitute it, for example, it will be, it goes into this little block here. Let me use another color. So you'd use a 2. Now for example, if you were working with the second example and you came to a value, so you know that it's going to be negative. So this is how we use the slope to fill in the equation. So basically, if you understand this, it is very easy to navigate through the rest of the equations. Here, we know that your y-intercept will be 2.8 million. Here it is going to be 0. Your m is positive, right? So it's going to be a positive value because your slope is positive. Here we also know that your slope is positive. Identify 2 points on the line, mark them off, and you are good to go with the equation. Similarly here, identify your b value. Your b here is 30. Your b in this example is 90. The difference between these two will be, this is a positive slope and this is a negative slope, so this will have a negative m, and this m will be positive. Now to quickly look at how do we isolate when it comes to multiple choice questions. If we look at the y values, the y-intercept, we can see that they all have a value of plus 90. They all have a value of plus 90, so we cannot use this to isolate. So the next thing we go to is looking at the slope. We know that the slope is negative, so it's going to be either B or it's going to be D. Therefore, it is very easy to strike these two off, right? Simply because it is not part of the answer, and you can go ahead and work out the slope. Moving ahead with these as well, 60 is your y-intercept, 50 is your y-intercept in this case, m is positive, m is negative. Find 2 points and you will be able to calculate the equation. Number 7, when will the slope of a line fit be positive and when will it be negative? We know when x is increasing, this is when you use your value of x and y increasing and decreasing. When x is increasing and y is increasing, then it would be positive. It will be negative when we have y decreasing and x increasing. To quickly go through this example here, number 9, they ask us some questions which are, what is the point of intersection? The point of intersection is where both the lines intersect. So this is your point of intersection, right? To quickly find the value, your x value will be 4 and your y value should be 12. Your y value, go towards your y-axis and it will be 12, right? And the rest of it is rather easy to work out. I do hope you have understood this lesson. As usual, never give up, stay focused, stay positive, and stay strong. Until our next video, take care.